This is the Sunseeker Ocean 182, and it may have a bigger forehead than Ant McPartlin, but we know that that means huge interior volume, 182 gross tons, as the name suggests. And that means you get this unbroken living space on the main deck right up to this windscreen here. We know this because we've already toured this boat, and that video is on the channel. So I'll put a link to that in the description below. And that means this video is all about what the 182 is like to drive and how it handles out at sea. So let's head up to the helm and find out, shall we? I'm Jack Haines, you're watching YachtBuyer. If you enjoy our sea trials on YachtBuyer, this is a great time to subscribe so you never miss another one. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a new review. Now, I said we're not going to focus on the tour on this version because we've done it already. We will have a look at the interior on this boat because it is different to the one that we looked at in America. But of course, the big focus is what it's like to drive, and the fact that on the Ocean 182, you've only got one helm station. Yes, you've got a second docking station down in the cockpit, but up here, this is the only place to drive the boat from. And you can see this layout, it's really commanding. We're going to talk about the slow speed stuff first, because there is the option to have an Aventix joystick on this boat. This particular one hasn't got it. Lots of them haven't as well. It's not a sort of option that everybody ticks because you have got great control from the proportional side power thrusters. So you've got bow and stern thruster. They have a hold function as well, so they hold the boat in place. And of course, you can use those to twist the boat, put one way, one the other, and it turns just as quickly, if not more quickly than it would with the joystick. And of course, you can do that with the twin throttles as well. But if you want the joystick up here or the joystick down the docking station downstairs, then that is an option. What about the layout? We've got twin 24-inch Simrad MFDs on this boat. You can have Garmin if you prefer, but you can see how beautifully this displays all the information. We've chosen to have the engine information here on this side, but you have got twin MAN screens down here as well. You can have radar up there, whatever you want really, and obviously we've got charting over on this side. You've actually also got a remote panel for the MFDs too, so you don't have to use the touch screens. They're a little bit close to the helm station, so that works really nicely. But I think that's enough talking. I think we should climb into this magnificent helm seat and see what it's like when you're up the revs. It is quite a position, this. You sit very high. Obviously we're central. You've got a great view forward. This is fully adjustable, up and down, adjustable backrest, in and out. You can really get comfortable in this seat. It is so imposing up here. I'll just feed some revs in. Once we're above 4 knots, we can activate our fin stabilizers. We've got fin stabilizers on this boat. There is the option to have a seakeeper. I don't think they fitted any seakeepers to this or a 90. This seems to be the option. Obviously it works at 0 speed, but you get that effect when the boat is moving along as well. We're doing about 8 knots now. It is so quiet. I know we're not moving along very quickly, but that's something you notice immediately when you're up here. Obviously you're very well insulated. We've got a fully enclosed upper helm here. You've got a lot of space between you and the engines, and you do notice that. So if we just open them up a little bit, there's just this sort of whir in the background, and suddenly we're shifting forward at 15 and closing in on 20 knots really very quickly. It does get up and go, this yacht. And what's quite interesting about the 182 compared to, say, its rivals like the Ferretti Infantino 90 or the Horizon 90, this is a boat that gets up to 27 knots. Those boats are sort of displacement, fast displacement, so you're topping out at 20 knots. This boat is cruising at 20 knots. So that is quite a significant difference on a boat of this style. And we are at 20 knots right now. Not that you'd know it. You're under 60 decibels, even at full speed. I think it's probably, remembering taking the figures, it's 52, 55 decibels at 22 knots. That's extraordinary considering you've got twin 1900 horsepower engines down there. And it just feels so serene and effortless from up here. I absolutely love this position. You've got such a great view. You can see I'm not having to touch the wheel very much. It's a pretty calm day. fly-by-wire steering, but we just stay on the straight and narrow. Obviously, you know, engage autopilot if you're doing a long journey, but this is a great position. Now, you can have another Helm chair here, and a few comments about that when we did the tour. You can have that. It does mean you lose the cooling space in this bar here because there's not space for the drawers to come out, but if you want another chair up here, which some people may, then that is an option. But yeah, this for the skipper is a really, really good position. The other nice surprise is it will handle as well. Now, this is a Sunseeker. You expect it to be dynamic, even at this scale. You won't have much call to do these sort of manoeuvres, but if you do, the boat responds really nicely actually. And we're out in Poole, there's always lobster pots in this area, so being able to spot one and adjust quickly on a boat of this size is actually really valuable. And then if we just open it right up to 27 knots, again, there's no perceptible change in engine tone. You're just moving along a little bit quicker. We have got trim tabs, haven't touched them at all. I don't think me or the skipper who's with us today have touched them all day. It feels like it runs really naturally without them. Again, it's not a particularly rough day, it's not very challenging, but you know, to sit here at 20, 25 knots, it is just remarkably refined and easy. But if you drop it right back, if you're doing sort of 7 to 10 knots, you've got in the region of a 2,000 nautical mile range, and even at that fast cruising speed, you're over 500 nautical miles. So it's got a 13,000 litre fuel capacity, meaning whatever speed you want to do, you have got decent range. And you can even have an option where you can fit trailing pumps. So if you want to run on one engine, the dormant gearbox can still be fed oil when that prop is spinning. And if you want to run on one engine at 10 knots, you've got a range of 2,800 nautical miles. So if you want to cover serious distance, you want long cruising, then that is an option that could be interesting. And there's real sort of technical depth this boat. It's got a water maker, it's got twin generators, it's got that huge fuel capacity. It is a boat designed to cruise if you want to use it in that way. And of course, it's pretty resistant to weather. If it's cold, you've got this fully enclosed upper helm. If it's warm, you've got this air-conditioned upper helm. So it does work very nicely at each end of the temperature range. But what stands out for me most is how quiet it is at cruise, 20, 22 knots. We've not had much time to get to know this boat today, but that is the overriding feeling, is that refinement and that quiet and just this wonderful driving position. You're pretty isolated from your crew up here, that's for sure. You know, you can fit cameras all over the boat, of course, so you can see where people are and you can see your surroundings. But in terms of communication with crew, pretty difficult up here. You've not got opening windows either side, so you can't sort of poke your head out and shout. But crucially, you've got that docking station down in the cockpit, so if you're doing close quarters stuff where you need to be in contact with the crew, that is where you'll head to. And I think we should do that now so I can just show you what that looks like. We're coming back into the dockyard now at Sunseeker, and you can see Skipper Lance has come down here to do the close quarter manoeuvring from this aft station. This is where it's important. You need to have communication with your crew. You can see the back end. You can see at the starboard side, we're coming port side too, so obviously it's not prime, but if you could manufacture coming starboard side too, it would make it a lot easier. But yeah, this is why this station here is so important. He's got full throttle control down here, both thrusters, and if you have the joystick option, you can have that down here as well. Of course, you've got engine stop start here too. So that's the driving experience. I said we're not going to do a full tour, but we are going to have a quick look inside to show you some differences in the interior between the EU boat and the American boat. Now, as I said, we have done a full tour of this yacht, so this will not be a full tour. I just want to show you some of the differences between this EU spec boat and the American spec boat. And most of it comes down really to furniture, colour palettes, things like that. You'll notice immediately, if you've watched the other video, this has got much lighter wood. We've got silver oak, it's just much brighter. And you've also got different furniture. So it's sort of more Italian, styly, European taste is what they're going for. Slightly lower slung, not such high backrest. They are quite small differences, but I've got to say it does feel quite different once you come on board with this colour scheme. Same things over here. There's quite a few things you can do with this area. You can extend the storage from that cabinet over there. You can obviously have these two armchairs here and a table. Really quite flexible with what you do with the freestanding furniture. The sliding side door is an option. I think most boats have got it because it does add a nice difference, and it means you can get in and out without only using the aft door in this area as well. The staircase, they talked a lot about the staircase this morning because it was a real design conundrum. They knew that it was going to impose on this area, they knew it had to look right, it had to be safe, but they said things like having the completely open treads means it doesn't dominate the area, and it doesn't, and it's quite architectural as well. It's a nice addition. It's not just sort of plonk there, and crucially it's very safe and easy to get up and down the decks, because it is the only way you can do that on this boat. Other things to point out, this boat's got the upgraded finish here, so this has got quartz over the standard that we saw on the American boat, and actually as standard this dayhead isn't a dayhead at all, it's just a cloakroom, but I don't think they've built any boats without the dayhead. You'd want to have the dayhead up here so guests don't have to disappear down into their cabins to use the toilet during the day. And then this arrangement is identical to the American boat. Again, the finish is slightly different. Something I should point out is there's a wine cooler down here. You can fit 34 bottles, so you've got plenty of space for your plonk on board this boat. And actually, as I said in the other tour, cooling space is really good. You've got full-size fridge freezers over on this side. You've got a couple more drawer fridge and freezers down here, and it's a really well laid out galley. It has that homely feeling, and a lot of that comes down to the storage options. You've got big deep drawers here for pots and pans, so if you want to live aboard, you've got all that cooking equipment here, induction cooking behind me here as well, and things like having really nice fiddle sections for individual pieces of cutlery, and you've got the same with the crockery elsewhere. It's all really nicely done. You can actually add an ice maker over in that corner as well. This, you're gaining a lot from the 90 Ocean, because on the 90 Ocean there's a lower helm down here. You don't have that, you have more storage space. This comes over as well, this storage down here. I'd like to see something to hold that up, because it's a bit awkward to have to use one hand to reach in and out. It's a very small thing, but it's just little things that as you live with the boat you probably tend to notice. The side doors are standard on both sides, and the other thing is, I've realised this morning they've told us, you can fully enclose the galley. I wasn't made aware of that in America. They said you can partition it off, but you can actually have this closed off and have a door here as well. They've built a couple of boats with that option, so if you're crewed and you want to be totally private, they can get out through that door, but they have complete privacy over there at the dining table. Here in the upper saloon then, there are some changes over the boat that we saw in the US, namely the furniture light downstairs. So this is a slightly different style to what you have on the American boats. And something else that we've confirmed is that these are structural. You know, it's not just a styling line, they are important in the structure of this enclosed hardtop we've got around us. But what they are thinking of doing is actually mirroring these sections so they don't stand out quite so much here on the upper deck. And there's another interesting thing that Sunseeker told us today. They are investigating the option of making this an owner's cabin. So you can enclose the helm here, have complete privacy, and then this is the owner's stateroom, obviously with a private terrace. They've not built one yet, they're looking into it, but I think that could be a really cool layout for this boat. And we'll just pop outside again, because again, there's some things we've discovered since the tour in America. We know about the furniture setup. This boat's obviously completely clear as it is. You can have freestanding furniture as the American boat had that we toured in the other video, but you can also have a hot tub out here if you want as well. Obviously that reduces your amount of outdoor living space in terms of space for furniture, but if you want a bit of super yacht sparkle, somewhere to percolate overlooking the back of the boat, you can have a hot tub out here as well. Before we finish the inside tour, let's head downstairs and have a look at the owner's cabin. I wanted to bring you down here because it's another really good area where you see the difference in the colour scheme. Again, you've got that silver oak, much lighter woods down here. It just brightens everything up a little bit. It feels a little bit more modern as well. Of course, the layout is identical. You've got storage over on this side, big wardrobes here, really nice big private ensuite over on that side too. And you've got the telly in the bulkhead here, mirrored there, so you don't really see it until it's on. There are a few options down here. This has been the most popular one, the breakfast dinette, but you can have a chaise longue down here and you can also have some storage, but apparently this is the one that most owners go for, not necessarily because they want to come down and have breakfast away from the guests, but it's a really nice place to work, set up a laptop, do some emails. What a place to do it. You're right by the window there. The last thing to point out is this is actually a Super King bed. It looks big, but we've had a confirmation it's a Super King. It's huge, and it just adds to the luxury of this cabin. A bedroom away from home. It feels much more than just a boat cabin. You know, seeing it here next to a 90 Ocean, you can't help but think that to solve the slightly awkward look of this section here, they could just put a black strip on here. They can't have glass in there because it's too important to the structure and this enclosed flybridge design, but just something to break up that area there would probably help a little bit. But that aside, there is an enormous amount to enjoy about the Ocean 182. It feels so entirely different to the 90 Ocean. The driving experience from up there at that central fully enclosed helm is remarkable. It is so quiet and refined and comfortable. It feels totally different, as does the main deck. Having this unbroken sweep right forward to this windscreen here as pure living space is lovely, and it does give you that home away from home feel that they were so desperate to get on board this boat. But let me know what you do. If you're in the market for a 90-foot Sunseeker, are you going to go for the 90 Ocean or are you going to go for an Ocean 182? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a like. I may have mentioned once or twice that we've got a full tour of this boat on the channel. If you want to watch that, we'll put that in that box up there. That is full interior, engine room, crew quarters, the lot. That's all in that video there. If you want to watch more sea trials, we'll put some of those for you down there. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, please click up here. Thanks again for watching.